Well, boys and girls, we are at quarter-final time where the rubber meets the road at a major championship, and Wimbledon is no different. We have Nadal and Djokovic still in the draw as the guys to beat, and we have a different crop of guys that are going to challenge them or try to challenge them than we thought at the beginning of the tournament. Can guys like Sinner or Fritz stop one of Djokovic or Nadal or both from getting to the final? Let's explore that concept here on The Slice presented by PointsBet Canada. All right, folks, a late night edition of The Slice. As you know, we got to get it. I'm out here in Europe, been watching all the action at Wimbledon and taking into account the 4 matchups here on the men's side that we have. And honestly, there's some pretty sweet matchups. 2 very blockbuster matchups for me in the quarterfinals, Djokovic Sinner, Fritz Nadal, and then 2 other matchups that are just totally different and unique. And it's pretty crazy that 1 or 2 of those 4 guys are going to be semifinalists at Wimbledon. You wouldn't have picked that before this tournament. I'll tell you that for free. The Slice is presented by PointsBet Canada during the 2022 Wimbledon Championships. If you're in Ontario and you want to bet on tennis, you need to join PointsBet Canada because they support The Slice, your favorite tennis channel, and they're an amazing sports book. So get around them. And thank you for liking and subscribing and following me on Twitter and us on Instagram. So let's get into these matchups. What do you say? What do you guys think about the level so far from Nadal and Djokovic? My thoughts is that Djokovic and Nadal both wavered from looking very good to looking very vulnerable. In the different matches, even Djokovic versus Van Rijthoven. Can we just talk about him for a second? What a player. That was like the first time that I really watched a long part of his match, and he's a big dude, and he hits a very big, heavy, clean ball, and that is nice. And it makes total sense that he was one of the best juniors in the world when he was coming up, and just the story about him struggling to get back here, you love to see it. Heartwarming stuff. So, but, you know, Djokovic wins the first set pretty cleanly, nervous, and then he loses the second set. There's these kind of lost sets, and we saw Djokovic in the first round against Kwon, also drop a set. And then even today, Nadal looked very, very good against Botic van de Zandschulp. And then he kind of dropped it in some ways and, you know, kind of got lucky to close it out in 3, in my opinion. And he looked shakier at the beginning of the tournament, but looked a lot better since. So to me, Djokovic and Nadal are, you know, obviously the guys to beat. They had been at the beginning of this tournament. But now it's 2 really good matchups for them, I think, with guys who I think can really do damage. The first, let's talk about it. Djokovic, Sinner. Now, they've played once before. Djokovic has the head-to-head lead 1-0. I think it was in Madrid on clay last year. And Sinner, though, on grass, historically, you know, such a small sample size, we can't really be like, oh, this guy's good at grass because he's played like a few tournaments so far. But the game, when you just think about it, how big he can hit forehand, backhand, how flat he can hit it from both wings, how long he is, how he can serve. His serve is improved. He's the type of player that can hurt Djokovic or anyone on grass for sure. And I think Sinner beating Alcaraz proved that he would be a bigger problem for Djokovic at this point in their career than Alcaraz would, because he's just obviously, from the level we saw, figured out the grass more, and his game comes easily, I think, on the grass. So that's going to be super interesting. Djokovic versus Sinner. Like, what do you guys think? Can Sinner get one of the first 2 sets? I think he obviously needs to. Can he try and blitz him? I think that's what he'll try and do, and I would love to just see him do that. But the challenge is against Djokovic. Like, I can just already imagine it where Sinner's going to be roasting winners in that first set. He's going to come out firing. But then can he just keep doing it? Because you know Djokovic is just going to sit down into that game and be like, come at me, bro. Try and go past me. Try and do it again. Try and do it 10 times in a row. And that just mentally wears on any opponent, and there's just not many guys who can do it. But to be fair, if there's a court where you can do it, it's the grass court at Wimbledon. We've seen Federer do it. We've seen other big hitting players, Sam Querrey, do it in the past. You can't hit through Djokovic on this court. You just got to play at a very high level for a very long time. So we'll see if Sinner can bring that type of level. I think this is an opportunity. Well, it's obviously an opportunity. I think Sinner proved something to himself beating Alcaraz. Did you guys not think that that was a big match for Sinner, who's the older of those 2 guys? He used to be the golden boy of tennis, and now Alcaraz has kind of taken over that mantle. Kind of interesting. So Sinner's going in there with big confidence. Djokovic has played very well for the most part and out of late been better. But there's no surprises for Djokovic. The big question is how good can Sinner play and can he cause a massive upset? The PointsBet odds are 7-1 your money for Sinner to win that match and basically 1.11 to your money to win that one. So he's not any value in betting on Djokovic, but Sinner, I would give him a chance. I give him a chance, and he's the type of player who can do it. But again, if you're looking at this, like this quarterfinal is just, it's got players, young guys, Sinner, Fritz, who are great challengers, but it is crazy that those are the two best players other than Nadal and Djokovic. This Wimbledon's draw has been an absolute crapshoot, and it's been an absolutely, it's a draw that's had the wind taken out of its sails by COVID, by the Wimbledon crap with the Russian players, and this is what we're left with, which is, it's exciting, but it's not exciting for the main reasons of having all the best players present. So we're still just kind of looking at that. David Goffin versus Norrie, though. Very interesting quarterfinal as well. We got David Goffin, resurgent, playing great tennis. Love seeing that. And then Cam Norrie, who is a guy at the beginning of the tournament, if you picked a dark horse to get to the quarterfinals, it would not be that shocking to me to say Cam Norrie gets there. Very good on the grass, very good in general, the 9th seed. So that's a tough one. I don't know. Norrie's got the one win in their past, 1-0 in the head-to-head, and the odds are pretty close. PointsBet's got him at 1.43 for Norrie, and then 2.85 for Goffin. And then, so yeah, I don't know who's taking in that one. I'm going to take Norrie, but I could see Goffin bringing out the experience, bringing out the class, and getting through that. I think that's one's going to be a bit of a battle for sure, and we'll see who comes out of that one on top. I just don't feel like either of those guys has as good of a chance as Sinner does to beat Djokovic. That's for sure. We've got Cristian Garin versus Nick Kyrgios. Nick Kyrgios, who you guys see me talk about with the Kyrgios clown show, or with the Tsitsipas clown show, the Tsitsipas Kyrgios clown show, got through, and he just got through a kind of closer one with Brandon Nakashima, where his shoulder was hurting. My question is he even going to show up for the Cristian Garin match? Because shoulders typically don't get better as you give them time. Just one day of rest between them, between a fourth round and a quarterfinal. And Nick has a history of pulling out because of injuries. He hasn't played a full season. He wants to be a part-time tennis player. And I saw Matthew Willis on Twitter saying, that's why there is no part-time tennis players, because it's impossible to keep your body mentally and physically in the same shape, in the right shape for this. But Nick Kyrgios is now in the quarterfinals of Wimbledon. So that is amazing. That's already a success for him, I think. But now he said, I'm in a different place than I was even 2 years ago in 2019. Nick said that the night before he played Rafa, I think it was the quarterfinals, or maybe the fourth or third round, I forget, in 2019, his agent had to come pull him out of a pub at 4 a.m. the night before playing Nadal. So things are in a different place now. He seems like he's in a better spot in some ways. And I think he's definitely going to get the better of Cristian Garin if he's fully healthy. But Cristian Garin is in the quarterfinals for a reason. He made the fourth round, I think, or the third round of Wimbledon last year. And he's not going to be an easy pushover, but Nick, so hard to break on the grass, so crazy. So I'm taking Nick Kyrgios in that one for sure. And then we got Taylor Fritz versus Rafa Nadal. Can you write it up anymore? Taylor Fritz hasn't dropped a set in Wimbledon so far. You can't say the same for Nadal. And Taylor Fritz also has recent mindset memory of beating Nadal in the final of a big tournament. Yes, it's not a Grand Slam, but is Nadal better on Indian Wells hardcourt or Wimbledon grass? That's a big toss-up. I think you'd have to say Indian Wells. So Taylor Fritz knows how to beat Nadal. He's done it before. And on the grass, Taylor Fritz, like Jannik Sinner's, his game is rewarded very well for hitting big, hitting flat, and having the length to get everywhere. His movement is not going to be as good as Nadal's, but he's got the game to do it. And I think this match is actually quite close with the odds. I actually haven't looked at it. We have to pull that up quickly here, which I will do. But Nadal is definitely going to have his work cut out for him. If we pull up the odds now, Taylor Fritz 3.4 to 1, Nadal 1.3. I see some value in that for Fritz. I see him as a big opportunity, especially if he gets that first set against Nadal. Watch out. I don't know. I think that's a big danger match for Nadal. These guys both draws have Nadal's draws open wide open. He would have had to play Fritz in the quarterfinals, or maybe Felix Auger-Aliassime in the quarterfinals. Cilic in the fourth, didn't have to do that. Doesn't have to play Stefanos in the quarterfinal or in the semifinals. He might have to play Nick Kyrgios though. We'll address that when we get there if we do. So Nadal, this is definitely I think the toughest test before the final for Nadal is this Fritz match, because I think he'll actually be a tougher test than Nick Kyrgios would be. So that's my thought on that. What do you guys think? Do you agree with what I just said? I don't know. Let me know. It's a late night here. Things are getting funky. So I'm going to go to bed now, and I will wake up in the morning. We will watch the first round of the quarterfinals with you, and we'll see what happens. Follow me on Twitter at @TheSliceSteven for minute-by-minute updates of things that are happening, all the chaos at Wimbledon 2022, and we will see you guys very soon. Thanks for being here. See ya.